Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing great. This video is intended for those candidates who are going to give UPSC Civil Services interview, which is starting from January 30th. I've been taking many mock interviews. Nearly 250 candidates have interacted this year alone. I keep observing some of the mistakes that candidates commit while giving these mock interviews, and unfortunately, some of these mistakes get repeated in the real interview as well. I thought I'll make a very short video where I will highlight a small mistakes, a silly mistakes, and in further videos I will also talk about big mistakes that candidates usually commit. I'll talk about the communication aspect of interview. So candidates come with various backgrounds. Some are fluent in English, some are not fluent in English. But doesn't matter how fluent or how not fluent in your English. So try to avoid these mistakes. Number one, many of the candidates use the word thing, Thing, to replace another word. For example, there are three things, they say. Instead of saying there are three factors, three dimensions, three courses of action, three options, three factors, something like this. So try to avoid the word thing. Even I use it in a regular English conversation, but when it comes to interview, which is a formal location where you have to leave a very good impression, try to use words in the right context. Second one, some people have the tendency of either repeating the sentence itself, the word itself, or they keep saying, even I used to do it. I'm trying to eliminate in my own conversation over the past few months. When you use too much of it drags the conversation and it doesn't look better. And also, while listening to that kind of answer, what happens, our focus shifts away from the substance content of the answer and moves towards all these unnecessary sounds that you are making. So try to avoid. For that, you may take your mobile phone, record your own video, record your own voice answers, and see if you are using them, and try to eliminate it. Can be eliminated. Third tip that I would like to give is something related to making your communication, making your answers more conversational. Most of the times, aspirants come with the notion that this is a question and answer session, and they treat every question as if they want to just give the answer and end with an answer in a conclusive way or in an inconclusive way. But your answer should be conversational. To make it conversational, you have to use some of the connective words, some of the transition words. For example, you can say nonetheless, furthermore, in addition to, and according to my little understanding, sir, and I think. So something like this. If you're not using them, and if you're giving just mechanical points, the way you write in the mains answers or something, for a listener also the same effect will be felt, that answer is mechanical. It lacks the soul. Without using too many of these words, by using minimal words, you can make it conversational. And also, to make it more conversational, what you have to do is that you should listen carefully. You should nod sometimes when the panel is speaking. You should in a very subtle way appreciate their question or their contribution, and using words like thank you, sir, something like this. So what happens, it becomes a conversation in the room where you become part of the team, like part of the conversation. So they slowly start thinking, assuming that you are one among them, you are part of the group. So when that happens, you will see that their responses, their questions are more thought provoking and more accommodative. It is less confrontational, and absolutely not confrontational. So the fourth point I would like to talk about is that don't try to use figures of speech. For example, metaphors, similes, these comparisons, analogies. So just give your answer plainly. Like, you don't have to say phrases like double-edged sword. Some people use, I don't know from where they get it. Maybe influence of literature, or listening to some people who use that kind of sentences. So try to avoid figures of speech. So use a formal language, come straight to the point. And it takes me to the fifth point, that always hit the bullseye. Never use any introduction, never use any context. Don't try to bring unnecessary background information. So directly hit the bullseye. If the question is, can you talk about the impact of internet on society? If the question is, can you talk about three major ways how internet has impacted societies all around the world, you should directly start. So the three ways which I can think of how internet has impacted are number 1, number 2, number 3. So you don't have to say ki, yes sir, internet has profoundly affected the societies all around the world, which can be felt something. So you don't have to use any kind of unnecessary sentences. Directly come to the point. And if you inculcate and if you cultivate and if you make it a habit to directly come to the point, this is one of the most appreciated qualities in a candidate from the interview board. So this is about it in this video. In another few days I'll come up with another video, as and when I think about when I come across, when I face some of the mistakes that candidates are committing, I will talk about them. So till then, try to avoid these mistakes. I hope these tips are helping you. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.